President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, how's everything going?
Tremendous. Just sending out a very powerful tweet about election fraud right now.
About more election fraud. You're still on the kick of election fraud.
Well, it's about saving our country. Okay,
When
it's got to save the country.
when do you turn the page on election fraud? Is it like never, and that will just be a thing that's like your go-to, like kind of crooked Hillary? It's your election 2020 fraud. Is that going to be your like one of the things in your pocket always to go to and never stop talking about it?
Well, Crooked Hillary, we're looking into Crooked Hillary as well right now. You think she's a very vicious person, Crooked Hillary, and I think she might have been behind some of the voter fraud. I think she might have been behind some of it, and we're looking into it.
You think she was behind voter fraud? No.
I think she could have been. I don't think there's anything stopping her from being a powerful voter fraud person. She's very upset. I'm sure she's very upset. She got beat in the greatest election of all time, the greatest political upset, even though I wasn't upset. I was actually very happy, by the way. And I think she might have done some voter fraud.
There's no evidence of that, and I haven't
Well,
heard
we're going to
that.
find some evidence. We're looking to maybe make some evidence, to be honest. So we'll find some.
You're going to create evidence to make Hillary Clinton look like that she committed voter fraud.
I think that's, sometimes you have to do that. So we're looking into it strongly. We're creating strong evidence, and we'll find out what's going on, because we have to protect our country. You understand this, tech stuff person? We have a
I understand.
country. It's under attack. It's being stolen by Sleepy Joe and the radical left and the fake news, and it's a total disgrace.
Well, Mr. President, I don't know if you're excited. You heard the news that's happening this Thursday night. Have you been
Well, of
told? Have
course
your
I know the
people
news.
have
Do
your
you
people
know the
told you?
news? You're new here.
It's the first annual Eppies, the Epi Awards. Are you excited?
They're called the Making Podcast Great Again Awards, the Mapigas, and each winner will receive an Epi.
That's right. And
And
it is going to be, I'm sorry.
well, if we have any artistic people out there, LGBTQ people, if you know what I mean, and they want to make a Photoshop of, the Oscars, which is like a less prestigious award, if you can just maybe find a way to put Jeff Epstein's face on the top of an Oscar, that's what we're going to be handing out to our powerful winners of the first annual Making Podcast Great Again Awards, also known as the Eppies.
Now, this past week, if you'd seen on Twitter, there've been different categories you can vote for, and there'll be a few more
And it's
categories
a
coming
fair,
up.
and by the way, it's a fair voting system. We're not doing voter fraud for the Eppies.
No, it's 100% legit.
There was a
And
runoff, excuse me, there was a
yes,
runoff between the great big Huck and the vicious fake American Hussein Obama. And I could have said, oh, Huck won. But I did the fair thing. I had a runoff. I actually gave the fake American Hussein Obama another chance to win an Epi. I don't think he's going to win. I think our group knows that Big Huck deserves all the Eppies. Okay. But strong polls exclusively on our Twitter account at Trump Pod. And the polls are very good. And I think we're going to have one of the great award shows in the history of awards. No social distancing, no masks, no
well,
pants.
no, well, the award ceremony is going to be on Zoom. It is going to be this Thursday, 8 p.m. live for all.
Eastern. We have some radical left people
8
in
p.m.
California.
Eastern for all the Patreon Patriots. Okay, so Patreon Patriots, this is going to be the bonus episode. It's going to be the first 98 people of the Patreon Patriots. You will have access to the live awards ceremony.
We will take questions. We will celebrate the greatest year in podcasting history. And
it's black tie, isn't it? It's black tie, Mr. President.
Well, I know we have, what's his name with the Rudley with the R? Isn't that one of our people?
Yes, I mean black tie means.
Yeah, that's. I think that's enough black. for us. We'll take Rudley. He's the African American of the perfect tens. It's, it's, you can wear a tie. You can wear a tie if you want. We will be dressing up accordingly for showing great respect to this very powerful awards show.
So it's 8 p.m. Eastern this Thursday. All the Patreon Patriots, you will get the Zoom information. The first 98 people will be allowed in live, and then the episode will be released later that night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. All Patreon Patriots. So, Mr. President, it's going to be very exciting on Thursday, but very funny this week. We'll get to Giuliani getting COVID after, but did you hear him fart twice during the Michigan hearing?
I did hear him fart, and I think it's great because, as you know, a few weeks ago he had shit coming down his head. And I think the doctors managed to fix it so that now the poop is coming out of his ass, which is, we shouldn't be mocking that. That's a great thing for our great attorney, Rudy Giuliani. Instead of bleeding shit from the forehead, he's now pooping out of his ass, which is very strong and appropriate. Never forget. Rudy Giuliani, they used to say never forget for 9/11. I'm never going to forget the time he farted in a Michigan courtroom.
Twice.
2 towers, 2 farts. Well, it's never forget. Okay. And Jenna Ellis, that strong evangelical attorney, she just sniffed up that Giuliani fart right in her face. That's a woman that could be a Trump wife number 4. If you can sit there and absorb Giuliani farts right in your face, there's probably a lot you can absorb in your face. And I'm very interested in getting to know her better.
He was a professional about it, though, because he farted, just kept talking. He didn't pause. He didn't bring attention to it. It was a very professional way he did it, though. You got to give it to him.
Oh, you do. That's why he's my attorney. I don't want somebody who's going to fart and have to leave the room.
No, you want someone who has to fart and bring attention to it.
He's a smooth operator.
Now,
a cousin fucking smooth operator. Total pro.
Mr. President,
sir.
Mr. President, sir, how
Thank
come
you.
you only make me do that sometimes and not other times?
It gets tired. Sometimes I give it. That's why I fire so many of the tech stuff people, because I don't want, if you don't get the lesson, if you don't learn to show proper presidential respect, and we just say, get the hell out of here. We say, get the hell out of here. We'll find a new tech stuff guy. I think we need a tech stuff woman, to be honest. I'm interested in maybe, like a busty, 19-year-old tech stuff whore.
I'll look into that for you for next
week. Please ask them at the agency if they have any, preferably a runaway, like somebody who ran away from home and spent all their remaining dollars.
Stuff runaway?
Excuse me. And spent all their remaining dollars on breast augmentation. I could have eaten this sandwich or gotten double D's, and I got the double D's. Tech stuff lady. We'll call her a tech stuff lady.
Now, Mr. President, Mr. Giuliani, your lawyer, he now has COVID.
Who's Italian, by the way. A lot of people think he's Jewish because his name is Giuliani.
Who would think that with the name Giuliani and think that?
Well, it's Jewish? Got Jew right in the name. It's got Jew in the name.
That's not how it goes. It's how the name ends. It's the
I wonder if he has a sister named Judy Giuliani.
I don't think so.
We'll see. We'll look into it.
Double Jew. Now, Mr. President, he has COVID.
Big League Jew. Remember the gum? The Big League Jew? You dip in there. And
it's Big League Chew. That was great gum.
No, it was Big League Jew because, you'd grab so much. You'd be greedy with it. You'd say, give me all the bubble gum. I got all of it in one hand. I'm a Big League Jew. This is not, excuse me, Ivanka's Jewish. This is not sympathetic. This is not anti-sympathetic. This is
anti-Semitic. Is not.
It's called anti-sympathetic. That's excuse me. That's what it was. I remember the PACs. I'm not saying anything hateful. It was called Big League Jew.
It's big league chew, and you're basically saying that Jews are greedy and they take as much as they can.
No, that was the gum. I didn't remember bubble rape. Remember, you'd have the big thing of gum, and you'd take it all. You wouldn't ask your friend, and they'd go, "Get off! That's my gum," and you'd go, "No, I'm taking it. It's bubble rape."
It's bubble tape. It's bubble tape. It's a long piece of. It was 6 feet of bubble tape. Also, really great, but gave you a lot of cavities. But bubble
Oh,
tape, not bubble. What kind of candy did you grow up with? You grew up with
well,
some
Fred
strange.
Trump, the great Fred Trump, had his own special candy store in our building where he sold Fred Trump branded candies. So we had Big League Jew, we had Charleston Jew. Remember the Charleston Jew?
You had Big
We
League
had
Jew.
Big League Jew. Thank you.
Yeah.
We had
What are they called?
well,
Juju.
well, I don't want
Juju
to
something. What are the?
jujubes.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have those. I don't want to tell you what we called Twix, but I can tell you our housekeeper did not like those candies too much.
Uh,
You know, every Halloween I never told the people this tradition, but in honor of Fred Trump, we play Candy Shop by 50 Cent, who's, by the way, one of my great African Americans. We play Candy Shop to honor the Fred Trump candy store.
I had no clue. I'm learning something new every
I mean,
single time.
Snickers, you can imagine what that candy was. I get upset thinking about the great Fred Trump candy store.
Oh, the Fred Trump candy store. I wish I can go. It's Jesus.
We might do a reenactment in the Donald Trump Presidential Library. Twix and Snickers. I tell you, there's going to be some controversy with those candies.
Please don't Photoshop those two. Uh, now, Mr. President, you made a prediction last week, and I stuck up for President-elect Biden, and you said that he got hurt having sex with his dog, and
I wanted to know if the tech stuff guy was going to have the guts to admit that they were
apologies.
wrong. Everybody's, oh, Mr. President, you can't imply that Sleepy Joe Biden was doing anything bad with his dog. What was he? I said it on Twitter very powerfully. What was he doing with his dog?
I think he got out of the shower, he with his tail. I think he hit his tail or stepped on his tail. I don't know. I didn't read it. I just
Because
know it was.
people go to the shower with their dogs. Normal people go to the shower with their
It's
dogs, right?
definitely strange that
Normal presidents, and then they, either we have two things: either Sleepy Joe was fucking his dog in the shower, or he thought the dog was the towel. And either way, I don't think this is somebody who can be president.
is it possible he could have been trying to fuck his dog after he showered in the bathroom?
As like a courtesy,
Mm-hmm.
like clean off the
Exactly. Like you're a
the
gentleman. You
balls
shower
and
before.
well, no, I don't know if you know this. If you heard my Mother's Day podcast, which was one of the great episodes we've ever had on the Patreon, one of the great traditions we did with the great Fred Trump was specifically to not shower. Oh no, excuse me. I think that was that Halloween? Maybe our people. We have so many traditions. I can't remember if it was Halloween. No, it was Mother's Day, wasn't it? Mother's Day.
All the family traditions blur into one for me, Mr.
I
President.
think, well, that's rude, but I think Mother's Day was the day where we would, in front of the young children, and we wouldn't shower. I think that was,
Oh, that's right.
I think it was Mother's Day. If there's anybody out there, perhaps the great Tom Fitzgerald, one of our great Patreon Perfect 10 people could, just clarify the record for us, the great Fred Trump traditions. We should put out a book next year called The Great Fred Trump Traditions,
That would be awesome.
rated NC-17.
The audiobook would be awesome.
Which is that's what Jeff Epstein would rate his parties, NC-17. No children over 17.
That's
Very
so
strict rules. He was very strict with the rules.
He always followed all the rules, Jeffrey Epstein. He was real rule follower, never did anything shady at
It
all.
was a very sad day when he definitely killed himself.
Well, Mr. President, another strong, powerful sponsor this week, and that is betonline.ag. Did you catch any football this past weekend?
A little bit, but you know what? I don't like our football because they have a lot of kneeling. Okay, it's like Mike Pence, but with blacks.
Mr. President, you have not mentioned COVID in weeks. I think we
I
had,
haven't mentioned polio. I haven't mentioned the flu of 1918. I haven't mentioned scurvy. I don't mention diseases that we totally dominated and destroyed.
but I think we didn't dominate, destroy it. The vaccine, it's on its way. It's being approved now.
Operation Rape Speed.
Are Did you see how former President Obama, Clinton, and there was a third, was it Bush, who is going to all take the vaccine? Are you going to stand with them and take it with them?
I will never stand with them for anything.
Okay. Are you going to take the vaccine?
I'm interested in possibly looking at the possibility of a potential taking of the vaccine. I would say that.
Have you just given up on COVID and protecting the people of our country? Because the numbers have growing faster than it ever has been. I think we had 1 million cases in a few days this past week.
You know, they say, oh, we're losing a 9/11 worth of people every day to COVID. And it's called COVID. It's not COVID Muhammad. Okay. It can't do a 9/11. It can't.
Are you saying that COVID can't kill people? I don't understand what you're saying.
No, they say it's doing a 9/11. And I have Rudy Giuliani, who, by the way, can stop 9/11s.
Mr. President, you know what they're trying? They
He
mean that.
farts and it stops terrorism.
Do you understand what they're trying to say, Mr. President? That as many people who died in 9/11, in the tragedy of 9/11, that is how many people are dying every single day. That's the comparison they're giving. They're not, and Giuliani has not stopped it because it keeps happening every day.
No, that's fake news because I can tell you OAN has not talked about any COVID deaths, so I'm pretty sure that it's not happening.
Okay,
We
that's
be
fine.
I don't know why people can't be happy. We defeated COVID. We defeated the crap out of it.
Hmm.
Herman Cain died of diabetes. That's what we're saying. You know, he's an African American who ran a pizza shop. So we are
I like that one.
no, he ran Godfather's Pizza. He ran a pizza place, like a business. So, you know, I think we have to get over COVID already. We have to get out. We have to go
He
to
died of
church.
COVID.
Who died?
All these people you're saying who did not die of COVID, the reason is COVID.
No, it's you know, it's you get hit by a truck and you sneeze and they say it's COVID.
Mr. President, the last thing I want to speak to you about, you spoke
That's
about
it.
this. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
and
no,
then
no.
we have the
No, no. Yeah, we have
questions.
questions. Yes, yes. Lots of
Okay.
questions today, Mr.
Well, you know,
President.
you're new here, and you know, that we've had a streak of very rude tech stuff people.
No, we have a lot of questions. So, Mr. President, you talked about this that you were going to stage some sort of rally on the same day as the inauguration, and now rumors are coming out that you were staging a stunt on Air Force One during the inauguration. You'll be the first president breaking tradition to not show up at inauguration and pass the baton to the next president. People are calling this is the first time in people saying in history that democracy is not stable. Our country, there is no stability from the leadership going down. What do you have to say about this?
I would say come to the Eppies on Thursday. That's where real democracy takes place. The people vote and the awards go to who the people choose. It's almost like we could call it, I'm going to call them the People's Choice Awards. Nobody's
You
ever done that before.
There is an award ceremony called the People's Choice Awards. You can't do
Well,
that.
we're going to sue them. We're going to sue them because, as you know, I just came up with that.
You didn't. There's already one that exists, so you can't sue them because they're going to say this has
Excuse
been
me.
going on for like
Excuse me.
30
No.
years.
I spell it like Mario Van Peebles. So it's the People's Choice Awards.
Why? You're spelling it like his name so you can use it.
Because, excuse me, guns don't kill people. Mario Van Peebles. It's a very famous Fred Trump saying.
Okay. I did not know that saying.
No, I'm not going to go to the inauguration because I won't. It's a fake win. It's a sad thing for our country. I am going to be in Florida having a rally, topless women, Mountain Dew for everybody, and just great faith, great maskless freedom. And we're gonna announce that I am running in 2024. We're gonna raise so much. Can we go off the podcast record?
We're off. Go for it.
I am gonna drain these dumb opioid addicted cousin fucking slobs so hard. Okay, we're gonna take every dollar these idiots have, and I'm just gonna pay off my debts. I'm just gonna say, hey, everybody, Donald Trump is running in 2024. We got to fight. We got to fight Biden. $100 million, pay it to the Russians. And then I'm going to decide in 2023 when all my debts are paid if I actually want to run again. And I might run again. But, first we have to really milk these, brain dead cows I call supporters and see what happens. Okay, we'll go back on the record.
We're back on the record.
Okay, well, we believe very strongly in democracy and in our great supporters, and we're gonna have to find out if Sleepy Joe is the winner. I will step aside, but I don't think he's the winner, and I'm gonna run in 2024 very powerfully.
Well, Mr. President, before we get to the listener questions, and there are some great questions this week, just want to remind everyone that the first annual Making Podcast Great Again Awards, aka the Eppies, are going to be Thursday on the 10th of December at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That will be for all Patreon patriots. You want to be a Patreon member? Sign up, patreon.com/mpga. Pick whatever level is good for you. And check out the website, guys. You can check out the YouTube page, see shows, and see the video. That's mpgapod.com. And grab a T-shirt for Grandma and Grandpa for Christmas. Now, Mr. President, these questions have come in. Instagram won this week, by the way, Mr. President. Lots of very powerful, strong questions on Instagram, Twitter. A lot of very silly questions that I would not waste the president's time with. But Mr. President, I want to ask you this. This comes from Rachel Armstrong. We know she is a perfect 10 Patreon patriot, and it says, Mr. President, sir, if Ivanka were to ask you not to run in 2024 so that she could, would you comply as long as she said please in quotes, or would you run against her? Thank you, sir.
That's a nice question because I like Ivanka. She would have to do more than say please. Okay, we'd have to see just how grateful and respectful she is. How bad do you want it, Ivanka? How bad do you want to get that Oval Office? We're gonna, you know, to get to the Oval Office, sometimes you got to go with the oral office. And I say that as a strong parent.
What does that exactly mean?
Oral, like using your mouth to speak. What do
Okay.
you think?
Because usually when people say oral, they don't mean it's talking.
Really? Because I have an Oral-B toothbrush, and that's brushing my teeth.
Okay. Well, you're right. I'm wrong. My apologies, Mr. President.
So she would have to ask very nicely, maybe in a prayerful, on her knees sort of position. Uh, just a very respectful, prayerful position to show how badly she wants.
To be president?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So I guess it's really the ball's in Ivanka's court.
That's the great Fred Trump had a saying, the ball is in her mouth.
Not the court.
Yeah, I don't want to get upset. You know how much I love the
I
great
know.
Fred Trump.
I don't want. I don't want
But,
to upset.
it was just his expression. It means basically the same thing. But, for Ivanka, I would say the ball is in her mouth. So it's up to her
What she wants to
how
do.
how we handle this. And I think she can handle it very strongly. I think she can, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I would not step aside for anybody but her. So if she's willing to do what it takes to get the position, I think I would strongly consider it.
This question's a personal question, and I think listeners would like to know. It says, "Sir, what was your favorite Christmas gift you ever received from melatonin?"
Oh, from
And this comes
melatonin.
from Jas Thad XO. These are Instagram questions. That was one Twitter question. It was strong. All the rest are Instagram.
Okay, well, I would say the best gift I ever got from melatonin. Well, that's easy. The first Christmas we spent together. Um, we were her country, Slotvania, has a tradition with the mistletoe. You've heard of the mistletoe, right?
Yeah, the mistletoes, you stand on a mistletoe and you have to kiss someone. Yes.
Right, exactly. You know, under of course Christmas with the great Fred Trump, it was a little different than that. Let's just say the mistletoe under the great Fred Trump
It's way more
was.
powerful.
I would say yes. It was very powerful. It was sort of, um, you know, you if kissing was really just the start of the Fred Trump mistletoe experience.
I think
But
this kissing was forbidden under the mistletoe.
no, it was occasionally permitted.
Okay.
But in Slotvania, where the great third first lady is from, when you stand under the mistletoe, what you have to do is you take a missile shaped dildo, okay? Because they have one of the things they export from
Slovenia.
from Slovenia is weapon shaped dildos for sort of rough play. So the mistletoe, it means you put one toe in the front and the Slovenia missile dildo in the back, and then you give a nice kiss.
Okay. Here's a serious question.
Like a,
Yep,
a respectful, nice
of course.
smooch.
Hmm? Mr. President, sir, what is it about Georgia that has made you get the most fanatical about overturning your loss there?
The blacks. Next question.
Wow.
I actually asked our Secretary of Defense if we could bomb Tyler Perry's studios.
You really asked that?
Yes, I did.
And what was the exact answer you got back?
Sir, we'll look into it. So they're still looking into it. I'm waiting on an answer, but we're looking into it very strongly.
I want to give credit to the last person. That was Top AZ Skies 1018.
Whatever all these sort of strange Instagram
I
names?
don't know. I don't know.
You know what my Instagram name is?
Donald Trump.
Real Donald Trump, because I keep it real.
Yeah. Here comes from Chuck Hoey. Your Excellency, sir. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being Ivanka and 10 being Crooked Hillary, how big of a loser is Georgia Governor Brian Kemp?
He's a 9 right now. You know what? No, he's an 11. He's beyond Crooked Hillary, because Crooked Hillary is crooked and a nasty Democrat, but she didn't betray me. Brian Kemp betrayed his president. So he's an 11. He's the new standard for crap.
Uh-oh. Well, this one is a good question. This is from Bucket Curator. Mr. President, sir, where are you looking to build your presidential library? And will your used diapers be the main attraction?
Well, obviously, this is somebody who's probably not listening very carefully to the show. I said very strongly a couple of weeks ago. So listen up, Bucket Curator. I said very powerfully, it will be between 2 strip clubs in Tampa, Florida. And no, the diapers will not be the main attraction. The cum-filled Trump diapers will be an exhibit, but not the main attraction. Obviously, now we've just discussed in putting a replica of the great Fred Trump candy store as part of it. There will be a hall of tweets. There will be a hall of tweets, and there will be uh, a sort of, we're going to call it the Ivanka experience, and I'll leave it
What
at
is
that.
what? Are you not going to explain the Ivanka experience?
Let's just say admission to the library will be $45, because, as you know, I was the 45th president.
Mm-hmm.
And for an additional $4,500, there will be a rotation of the strippers from the nearby clubs, only blondes, tall blondes, and you can sort of you can have bikini Ivanka, you can have UN hard nipples Ivanka, you can choose. And for $4,500, tip not included, you can have the Ivanka experience.
So you'll have different Ivanka lookalikes from like almost like Barbie dolls, like the Ivanka UN, the Ivanka Passover, the Ivanka um, I'm getting ready to vote, the Ivanka I'm with my family.
The Ivanka sensual private Thanksgiving dinner with her father.
That one too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where she's, got a turkey leg down her throat. Family meals. You see the whole full experience.
This is a very interesting question. It comes from R19.
45,000 for the whole weekend. For the weekend.
Wow. I don't even want to ask what goes into that.
You probably, for that money, you go in.
This is from R191108. I don't know what
I would like to executive order. I would like to prioritize people with real names as their handles.
This is a very interesting question, though.
Okay, well, from here on out, though, I would
Okay.
like to prioritize real names.
No problem. Why did you choose to run as a Republican and not as a Democrat, and what drew you to the Republican Party?
The Republican Party has more attractive, stupid women. And, like I give the Democrats, they have some attractive people too. But the Republicans have those very vicious, stupid, angry, hot women who, they like their tramp stamps and their Bibles. And I think it was the women that attracted me to the Republican Party. Great women, strong, patriotic, Mountain Dew drinking Christian women. And I like the low taxes. I like the pro What else do we do in the Republican Party? Low taxes and yeah,
Church,
yelling at
pro
Democrats for
life,
being
pro
yeah
life.
pro. Right, I like life cereal. I thought it was the
No science.
cereal.
Science doesn't exist.
Science is overrated. But remember, like when they said pro life, I was like, well, remember the cereal with Mikey? I love
Yeah.
the life cereal. It's a tasty cereal,
See,
very
that's what you thought
underrated
it was the
cereal.
whole time.
I thought that's what it was. I was like, I'm pro life. I'm pro. Raisin bran on occasion too, with a pro raisin bran party.
Um, Mr. President, we have three more questions here. And it says, not a very nice way Johnny Geo starts off, but it's a great question. You're a graceful loser, Mr. President, sir. He does say, sir. Will you be pardoning the great Jeffrey Epstein soon?
All I can say is some award shows have lifetime achievement awards. The Eppies on Thursday.
You give away pardons.
Don't interrupt me, please. We'll have a special presentation. There will be a special award at the Eppies, and I'll leave it at that. We're going to leave it at that, okay?
We have two more questions, Mr. President. This is from Dave or Dav dot
Well,
2748.
Dave sounds American, and Dav sounds like a Middle Eastern terrorist.
There's no E at the end. It's just Dav, I guess. Mr. President, if Rudy dies from the Flujitsu hoax virus, will you have him stuffed for an exhibit in your porn store presidential library? Thank you.
Well, we'll have to see what his last wishes were. But if he's open to that, I would see no problem with sort of stuffing Rudy and just having him greet everybody, having Rudy Giuliani's body, or we put him in the bathroom with his streaks of poop coming down his forehead. I think there's definitely a strong place for Rudy in the Trump presidential tweet library.
And this last question, Mr. President, comes from Jack Snow 333. Mr. President, sir, what do you think about your great friend, Mr. Vince McMahon, treating his WWE wrestlers very strongly as independent contractors instead of his employees? Does he have a point for not considering them as employees? Is that fair? What is your comments as a businessman on that matter?
I think it's nice that he treats them as contractors. I would treat them like slaves.
Mr. President, they think they work. Some of them work 50 weeks a year. Um, and with really no vacation just to get off for mental health purposes so their body's not really torn up that much, and these people should be employees. They are full-time working. It's not like they wrestle, you know I mean, if you were a boxer, I understand the independent contractor, UFC, where you fight two or three times a year, but these guys are fighting in the ring, 45 to 50 times a year. Nothing.
No, I'm totally okay with it. I was just thinking about some of the whores they used to have in the WWE who were so hot.
Sorry to ruin your daydream, Mr. President. So you
No, I
agree?
think Vince is tough. Vince is very strong, and I think he knows he has a great product, and that's how I would run the WWE. I would say, yeah, lucky you're not a slave. You can be an independent contractor. You can go somewhere else.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for joining us again for another week. And I'm going to see you Thursday again because it's the first annual Making Podcast Great Again Awards, aka the Eppies. And that is Thursday live, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That is the 10th of December. For all Patreon patriots, the first 98 will get in for the live show. You do not want to miss this. There'll be questions, awards, special guests. It is going to be awesome. It is also black tie, so please dress nice.
We
Don't
we
look like a
encourage
pigger.
formal attire and strong cleavage.
Very strong cleavage. Also, please leave ratings and reviews on everything: Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes. It helps with the algorithms, it helps with everything. So please, if you can't be a Patreon patriot, the least you can do is just click a couple of times for free and write something nice. And also check out the website, mpgapod.com. Check out the YouTube page, buy a t-shirt for someone for the holidays. And we got a lot of bonus material coming up for the end of the year, especially this Thursday. So check it out. First annual Making Podcast Great Awards, the Eppies. Mr. President, any parting words for our listeners?
Yes, thank you for supporting your president, the greatest podcast in the history of the world. Hey guys, it's JL. Thank you for listening. Looking forward to the Eppies. Should be a fun time. Just on a selfish note, this week before the Eppies, either Tuesday or Wednesday, so by the time you listen to this, it'll probably be up. I'll be posting my Make Jeopardy Great Again video as part of the videos I'm doing of Trump trying to find a new career. Make Jeopardy Great Again is a true masterpiece. So I hope you will look that up and share it with friends. And that's the only plug I'm going to do this week. So thank you, Tech Stuff Guy. Thank you, everybody. Have a safe week. Hope to see many of you on Thursday. God help us all.